Hi, Mike Pelonzi here with another episode of Safe and Sound, brought to you from Safety Academy USA. Today we have our first guest, and I'm very excited. We've been talking about safety the last few shows, and I wanted to bring a very knowledgeable person in that knows all about money. We all like money. We all like collecting money. This is Spleen. He is the owner of Beverly Coin Jewelry Records Estate Appraisals. We're located at 38 Rantoula Street in Beverly. I've known Spleen many years. He's helped me and a lot of my friends. Really great guy. Welcome. Thanks for coming.
Glad to be here.
Nice to see you. All right. First question. We all have these, right? Everyone has a jar coin. What should people look for before they take this and just dump it down the bank? Like, is there anything in here? We've all heard, oh, this has an error, this is worth that. What should people look for in reality when they're going through their change?
I get asked that all the time. That's probably one of the top 3 phone calls I get. Generally, your pocket change, you're not going to strike it rich. That's a big letdown, but you never know what's going to be in there. There's something a lot of people don't know about. Just because I'm looking at nickels, I'll mention that first. Between 1942 and 1945, nickels were 35% silver in the U.S. So you got about $1.50, $1.75 of silver value in those if they're dated 1942 to 45. And you could decipher that over Monticello on the back. There's a mint mark, a little P, D, or S. And they did that so that the bank tellers could pull them out of circulation after the war. But since there was only 7 cents of silver at the time, they decided, nah. So you could find those treasure hunting. A lot of people don't know about that. Some people pull out wheat cents or Indian head cents. Generally, the circulated stuff you're not going to get rich off of, but there are a few dates that could be potentially lucrative. And then something a lot of people don't know about, on the territorial quarters, which came after the state quarters, in 2019 and 2020, there was a Great American Treasure Hunt that the Treasury did. Kind of a neat little thing. Next to Washington, there's a mint mark. You're not going to see it on the camera. It's really small, and some people have to use a magnifying glass. But if they did W's, and they made $2 million of each of the 5 designs at the West Point Mint for 2 years, and they dumped them in 34 states. Massachusetts didn't get them, but the coins have circulated, so some turned up in Massachusetts. Rhode Island got a lot of them, so some of them made the way from Rhode Island. And it was just a fun thing that the government did for collectors, and it helped the hobby a little bit. They didn't promote it too well. And then the last thing, which is probably the biggest one, is the dimes, quarters, and half dollars, if they're dated 1964 or earlier, 90% silver. And silver's done pretty well this year. It's gone up a good 20-25% from where it started the year. So it starts to add up. If you have a bunch of old change or you inherit a box of stuff from someone's attic, there's a good chance you'll have some silver in there. That's basically it. Errors. People think they're rich, and they think, a lot of it's just damaged coins. It's not errors. Yeah. I have some major errors, which are not very valuable. They're pretty common. Errors on antique coins get to be really special.
Now, when you say antique coins, what do you mean between antique coins and what you're saying here, like in the jar?
Antique is generally the stuff that you're not going to find in your change anymore. Things like Franklin half dollars, Walking Liberty type, Barber coinage, Mercury dimes, and older.
So the older stuff is considered antique?
Yeah.
Okay.
Generally 7,500 years and older.
That is old, 7,500 years.
Yeah, we've been making coins in the U.S. since, well, not we, but coins have been made in the U.S. since 1792, federal coins.
So why should people invest in coins? What's the best thing to do? Someone comes to you and says, hey, you know what? I want to start investing in coins. I want to start collecting coins, but I want this for an investment. I'm going to sell them to you later, or maybe I'm going to hand them off to my kids. Like, what would you tell that person? Where do they start? What should they do? Like a total guy comes in off the street.
So you want to find out if they want to just invest in metals, which are generally modern coins, gold, silver. There's a few platinum and palladium, which are more exotic. Or if they like antique coins. More of the people who like antique coins are going to be the older crowd, generally. Things that their grandfather might have given them a buffalo nickel, and they were enamored by that, so they want to pursue that. And I tell people to collect what they like. I mean, if you like it, chances are someone else in your family is going to like it if you pass it down to them, or you just become a specialist in that, like buffalo nickels or Barber quarters or Morgan dollars, whatever. People seem to just amass a whole variety when they start out, and then they find something they like, and they focus on that. And if you become an expert, you can invest wisely. And I say do it for fun, but sometimes it turns out to be a great investment. Sometimes, like all investments, they don't always pan out.
Would you see all these TikTok videos where find this coin sold for $19,000 at auction, and maybe that's great, but that's probably 1 in a million, right? Like, you're not going to find a $19,000 coin in this jar.
So, not very likely. I wouldn't say never, but most of those guys get paid per click. So once they get, I think, 15,000 clicks or 35,000 clicks, they start making money. So if they say, oh, look what I found in my pocket change, and they get a million guys to click, they're getting a paycheck, and they don't have to work because they're making videos.
Okay. So it's not truly accurate information. They just...
I mean, if you find something that turns out to be, wow, oh, that's like a 1914 Lincoln, and it's nice condition too, and then you send it off to a grading service, and you get it professionally graded for $60 or so with insurance and insured shipping both ways, and it takes a few months to do it too. So if you have something pretty special and you get it graded and you get a pretty high grade, or it's a rarity, it doesn't even have to be a high grade, then some of these coins could be the $19,000 coins. But not many U.S. coins over $10,000 unless they're really special. And a lot of those were handed down.
So tell me about the grading process.
So there's several grading companies. I'm not going to name any of them. I'm not a huge fan of them, but they are great for authentication. This is an NGC coin, Numismatic Guarantee Corporation. It's one of the major coin grading companies. They're great for verifying if the coin's legitimate or not. But you could send a coin to 3 different services and get 3 different grades. That's why I'm not a huge fan of them. Some people only collect graded coins for peace of mind. Other people can't stand the grading companies, and some people mix it up. They'll grade certain coins over $1,000 in value maybe, but no sense in having a $10 coin graded, although the internet's filled with $10 graded coins for sale where they actually spent $25 to $60 to have it graded.
I was going to ask you, what's the average price to grade something? Does it go by what coin it is or how bad it is? Or
They have all different tiers. Modern coins, you send in a roll of modern pennies hoping to get really high grades, they're going to charge you, $12 to $25 a coin plus shipping, etc. You send in a roll of antique Morgan dollars, and they're going to charge you, $25 to $60 a coin plus insured shipping. And if the coins are each worth $400 each, you start paying a lot of money just in insurance.
Right. Yeah.
And the grades are often disappointing. People see a coin that looks great to them, and then it comes back as cleaned or scratched or some other corroded. There's all sorts of different, they call them details for coins. And when you have details on a coin, that kind of kills the grade. So.
All right. So it sounds like it takes a lot of money and a lot of effort hoping for the best, but people shouldn't take all these and send them out to be graded.
Generally, it would be a waste of money.
I'll talk to you first and say, hey, what do you think this is? Because you can kind of guide them in the right direction.
Well, exactly. And that's where your red book comes in, which you brought in.
I did. And you can...
So I tell people who come in my shop, Red Book is the Bible of U.S. coins. It has, well, this is the 2022, but the 2024 has every U.S. coin ever minted. So you could look up mintage and auction records. It shows like the highest one ever sold for. But this is strictly retail pricing. If you find a coin and it says this is a $100 coin, it starts at $100 and it climbs up to $1,000. Generally, a dealer will pay you between half and 2/3 of the values published in here, because dealers like to buy wholesale and then charge retail, and that's how they make a living and feed their families.
Yeah.
So this is a
Right.
Bible, but for information, but the pricing, a lot of it's fantasy land.
So it says this coin's worth $100. You're not paying them $100 because you need to sell this for $100 if it's truly worth $100.
Generally, I wouldn't pay $100, but sometimes I have a customer with a want list who's looking for an elusive coin, and I'll really step up for it if I can't locate it elsewhere.
Okay. let's shift gears. We've gone from coins. How about bills?
Currency.
Currency.
My specialty.
Is it?
Yeah, I really enjoy currency. Everything from old silver certificates to $500 bills, $1,000 bills. They're pretty exciting.
I know I brought in a
Was it start out?
stack of the $2 bills.
Oh,
Remember those? Yes,
the $2 bills.
$2 bills. Like, wow, look at these. And I actually forgot I had them, and I thought they were worth a ton of money. But unfortunately, it was not worth a ton of money.
Well, they sell uncut sheets at the Treasury, and they're pretty neat. You could buy 4 $2 bills. You could buy 32 $2 bills. You could buy 32 $100 bills. That's pretty neat. But they're just a collector novelty. They're not really. Some of the older sheets are worth, twice face value maybe if you have one from the 60s, 70s. But the modern ones, they're basically just nice things to give as a fun gift to someone.
Is it hard to collect currency over coins?
So currency wasn't meant to last. Old currency got destroyed after a while. Once it's not presentable, the Federal Reserve incinerates it or shreds it. Coins were really durable, and you could circulate a coin for years and years and years, unless you get it in the water and it turns green like that one. But you could still tell it's a penny, and you could still use it.
Honestly, this came out of my car. This is my wife's jar, and I wanted to add some more, so I've just coins around the car in the center console. I'm just grabbing them, throwing them there. That's what happened to these. I'm sure they were in the car, get dropped on the ground.
Your gas mileage is going to be better now that you got those out of the car.
It is.
Yeah.
She's excited. Oh, I'm going to take these to the bank. Hold on. Sweet, she should take these bank, or she should go through them.
I mean, you can sift through them, look for silver if you're bored during a snowstorm.
So the ones that you said, getting back to nickel that was silver, they find these, come to you, you look at them, you buy them for whatever, then you resell them, so it could be an easy transition rather than go online, because I know a lot of people, we're going to talk about that in a minute. I want to ask you, besides the books, digital age, I hate it, you hate it, I think. I'll speak for myself, I'm not a fan. Apps for everything. Kids in their 20s and 30s, I'm going to tell you, they probably won't go to the bookstore and buy a book. They'll probably download an app.
They do.
Are there any reputable apps? Or
So-
do you tell people to shy away from it?
The apps I'm not a fan of. There's anything you have to pay for like that. I've not heard good results. People bring in a coin and they say this penny's worth $1,200 on the internet, and I say sell it to the internet because no one's going to give you $1,200 for that coin. That I've seen. Maybe some apps are great. There's a lot of new ones. Some of them you take a picture of. Some you just of the coin. Some you just look up the coin and the year. But there's also some better services, like another grading company, PCGS, has something on their site. There's a tab called CoinFacts, and like the Red Book, you could look up any U.S. coin, and it has different photos of different grades, from low grade to high grade, and that'll tell you how many are estimated to exist, and that's completely free. I like that a lot better than the apps.
Yeah, I never trust those, and I have used that scan. One, you take the picture front and back, and it says how much it's worth. And then I cross-reference it with the Red Book, and it's a totally different price.
Yeah.
So where are they coming up with this thing? Is it just the AI doing it? Or?
Likely. I mean, they're probably not putting a lot of effort into it, and they see people clicking on it. Maybe they buy it in the App Store for $2 or $15, and it adds up. You got a few thousand people to do that, and again, you don't have to work because you're creating apps with probably AI. That's a good guess.
All right. So I personally like the books myself. Plenty of time. Look at that. Let's talk about storing these. Obviously, this was not stored properly, probably in a car mat on my car. But, this one looks pretty good. This is a little older.
Yeah.
I don't know what this is because I don't have my 1991.
There you go. So let's say that's the year your son was born and you wanted to give it to him for Christmas.
Okay.
So these are called coin flips. They come in 6, 7 different sizes. And you could take any U.S. coin. This is for a $50, but we're just going to put a quarter in it. It's, center it, put it in. You could tape it or staple it. And it's a great way to display your coins, keep your fingerprints off them, keep them as close to pristine as you can. You don't really want to handle a coin other than by the edges. Some people put their fingers on it and hand me a gold coin in the shop, and I'm going, oh, no. But yeah, any coin that you think is valuable, put in a flip. They also make plastic flips which don't have anywhere to write on them, but they keep your coin really nice. And that's a lot of the people who buy gold and silver coins that are larger use those. They're like 10 cents each. Really not much investment cost for protecting your collectibles.
No, I actually bought all these from you. The dime, the nickel,
Okay.
the quarter. And I just use a stapler
Yep.
to staple it. Some people I've read online don't staple it. I don't know why they say that.
Well, that's
So
a
you can
good
go ahead and
question.
do
That's a
that.
really good question, actually.
Because we do with tape too. We have
A
both.
small percentage of people use tape, which actually makes sense.
Okay.
But if you staple a coin and then you decide the holder, you wrote on it wrong, or you want to take it out of the holder and put it in a different kind of album, when you open it up, some people do that, and the staple
You can staple it. Go ahead.
Well, the staple can actually mar the coin. And there's some very valuable coins that have been scratched, and that could take a $100 coin and turn it into a $20 coin because there's a good scratch on it. My friend brought in a 1858 quarter yesterday, and it looked gorgeous on the front, and the back, right over the eagle, there was a scratch. And I'm like, oh, you're killing a beautiful coin. Well, he didn't do it, but someone along the line. I mean, it could have been from commerce,
Yeah.
but it could have been from a staple as well. And that really affected the value, I'd say, by about a third on that coin.
You made me want to get rid of my stapler now after
Yeah,
this
well,
conversation.
yeah.
Just invest in tape.
Scaring some sense into you.
Yes, you are. And I've heard some coins, certain years, they weigh more than others. There was a mistake in some. Do you know if there's any validity to that where you start weighing certain coins?
Yeah, that's where the red book comes in handy. There's some pennies where there were crossover years, 1981, 82, different weights. Some World War II cents had different compositions and different weights.
Let's talk about the war, because everyone thinks they find a 1943 penny and they've struck it rich. Dispel the myth of the 1943, what it is, what it isn't. Because some are valuable,
Yep.
but a lot are not.
So the 1943 steel pennies, often I get the phone call, I got a silver penny from 1943. It's rare. They tell me it's rare. And I say, well, they made about 11 billion of them at the 3 mints if you look in the red book and add up the totals for all 3 mints. It's the only magnetic U.S. coin ever made, which is a fun fact.
Really?
Yeah. The steel penny, not the silver penny.
Probably don't want to take magnets to say pennies because you mock them up, right?
Well, I mean, I don't think you're going to hurt your collection too much with
Okay.
the industrial size magnet. Canadian coins are mostly magnetic too, which is kind of interesting. You can pull up any Canadian coins by running a magnet across there. But
go
the
ahead.
43s,
Yeah.
so they're mostly steel, but a few 25, 30 copper examples exist, real ones, and those are worth $250,000 and up. And the 1944s, when they went back to copper, some of the steel's made it in there, and there's 25, 30 of those. And those are $25,000 and up in value. There's a lot of fakes of both. So fake copper 43s, lots. You could buy them from Chinese internet sites and some others for a couple dollars. And, just to have in your collection, it's fun, but I don't recommend trying to pull the wool over someone's eyes. But, some people shock their friends and say, look, I got a 1943 copper penny, but it's a gag. And same with the steel pennies from 44. You could buy the fakes online, but there's only a handful of real ones.
And there you go. That is the myth of the 1943 that everyone always says to me, if you find a 43, you're set for life. And I go, hold on. I called you and asked you that.
Yeah.
You mentioned foreign coins. Easy to collect, worth collecting, worth searching out, Canadian and foreign coins, or what's your opinion on that?
So it's a big world, and you say foreign coins, and I'm looking at a New Hampshire token, which comes in to the shop all the time. Some people collect tokens, metals. It falls in a numismatic category. Foreign coins I find really exciting. A lot of shops don't deal in them at all. Some dabble in them, and some love them. I just find it exciting because it's a big world. There's coins from everywhere, and some people collect countries of their heritage. Some just are enamored by a certain country they visited. Modern 20th 20th century and up foreign coins generally are not super expensive unless they're high-grade rarities or limited. Some of the older coins, another interesting thing about foreign coins is you could buy pre-1900 coins, 1700s coins, plenty of them you could buy for $10, $20. They've been making coins overseas a lot longer than they made them in the US. They put dates on coins. They started around 1500, generally doing that. So even coins from the 1500, you could buy plenty of them for under $100, and there's a nice 1574 date on it. Pretty exciting. So I really enjoy foreign. Maybe a third of my customers like foreign, and the rest of them are like, I just want US. I live here. My kids aren't going to want foreign coins, so I'm going to focus on US.
I didn't even know you could do that. I was thinking of people go on vacation in another country, Paris, Italy, wherever, they come back with a handful of coins. What do you do with them? Exchange them, bring them to you. But now there's a whole nother world out there that I just learned about with foreign coin collecting.
A few of my customers try to collect one coin from every country, and then they go deeper. They go for countries that no longer exist. Then they go for in foreign countries, usually they change the design when the monarch switched. So they'll get each monarch from a certain country. And I mean, it becomes endless after a while, but it keeps them excited. It's a lifelong hobby.
All right. So let's talk about, I always do a tip of the day at the end of the show. But today I'm going to have Spleen do the tip of the day because we talk a lot about different things. And people, unfortunately, get taken on the internet, and Spleen mentioned earlier, buying fake 43 coins overseas, have them shipped in. Talk about the dangers of that and how to avoid that.
So there's lots of fakes. When people come in my shop and they're selling a collection or having it appraised, I pull out a analyzer which x-rays coins. It does gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. A couple companies make them, and there's also a ray gun, which is pretty bulky and has to warm up for a few minutes and load in the software. And that x-rays, they use it for mining, but it could go through any silver plating or gold plating. And these are some of the fakes that have come in my shop. I bring them just to show people all these lovely things you could buy on Facebook. Antique store going out of business, selling Morgan silver dollars for $10 each. And there's $20 of silver in them, so that right there should tell you that they're not real. Lots of fake gold coins come in. Looks real. You hold it next to another gold coin. They got the weights down. They weigh exactly 1 ounce or half ounce. Fake Canadian gold coin. Fake silver bars from major bullion dealers that I put them on my x-ray machine. It says no good. But now they're getting a little clever, and some of them they're putting a little bit of silver on them. So if you do like an acid test, like you do for like a gold or silver chain,
yep.
It might come up positive unless you really dig into the coin through the plating. That's why the machines are very helpful. There's stores that don't own a machine. Those are the guys I'd try to avoid because you don't know what you're getting. And if you buy things on the internet, you want to be really careful because you don't know if they had a machine. You don't know if they drop shipping things from China. If you're going to buy on the internet, I highly suggest using your credit card, not using Venmo or any of the other popular payment. Even a check or a wire, I'd be leery of doing. Some places will charge you a little more for using a credit card because of the fees they have to pay, but that's peace of mind. If they don't want to give you your money back, you find out something's fake when you bring it to a local coin dealer, if you have recourse through your credit card company. Because if it's a U.S. coin, that's counterfeit U.S. goods, and Secret Service can show up and analyze the situation. And on these, I put a little R on the back with a jeweler kit because it's counterfeit U.S. goods, but the R stands for repro. So now I can't be prosecuted because I'm not trying to pass off this is legitimate. I wrote fake right on it. So
that's a great tip, using the credit card for some recourse.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure plenty of people go on the eBay, maybe Amazon. I've never honestly looked on any of those to buy coins. But do they sell coins on Amazon, do you know?
They sell coins everywhere.
Do they?
Yeah.
And what's the recourse to that? If people are thinking.
Worst case, you have your credit card company to call the 800 number on the back,
Yeah.
which I've done that when things haven't arrived. But I like to deal locally. I like to go to trade shows. I like to deal with other dealers and collectors, and there's local coin clubs. That's a great way of learning a lot about the hobby.
There's local coin collecting clubs around here?
There are.
Do you have one?
There's one in Stoneham that I'm a member of. Yeah, it's fun. It meets twice a month. Yeah.
Do you want to give them a plug?
The Stoneham Coin Club. You can find their information online. And it's a great group of guys who love sharing knowledge and trading, and they have auctions and a little bit of fundraising. It's fun. Good club.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, look at that. Winding down real quick. Spleen, thank you very much for coming in. I know I learned some things today about coins, things I didn't know as far as the silver and the face coming over and using a credit card. Also appreciate Spleen bringing in, what's that called again?
Sigma metal analyzer, precious coin verifier.
His metal analyzer. He couldn't bring the big X-ray machine because it takes too long, and but certainly if anyone has any coins you want X-rayed, bring it up to your place on. What's the address again? Because I know you moved 38 Rantoul Street. Because you used to be at the other location.
That's right.
And you ended up buying your building down there. It's a great building that you have there. All right.
Super.
Well, thank you again for coming in. I want to again thank Chris. I know Michelle is working remotely, but I'm sure she has something going on with the show today. Of course, my lovely wife, you can't see. She won't come in front of the camera filming this so we can put this up online. And we also have a guest appearance in the back. She won't come out, but my lovely mother's here visiting. Hi, Mom. My mother Pat's here. So next time we meet, we are going to do a show on food safety, which is going to be in 2 weeks. I have a chef coming in from Kettle Cove. We're going to have all kinds of food. And luckily for Chris and Michelle, we're going to leave the food behind for them to have a nice lunch when we're done. Thank you very much.